What's happening? What's happening? Good afternoon, family. This is Michelle Bryant. You are inside the midweek flow. Want to say, got a lot we want to talk about, cover today. Let me say what's happening to the family in the studio. What up, Jay? How
Hey,
you doing
what's
today,
going?
sir, Mr. Rideout?
I'm just um, dealing with the aftermath. I should say.
Understandable.
Uh,
Understandable.
it's most definitely shocking, but sad to say, I kind of expected it.
Why you say that?
Well, just from some of the stuff that I was hearing from some of these guys and the stuff I was seeing on Facebook was just like, wow, like some of the language that they was using towards Vice President uh, Kamala was just, or Kamala, I should say, um, was just very disturbing, very disturbing.
I think that there are many, many people that certainly share your sentiments. I think also knowing that Wisconsin, was the essential death knell.
Yeah,
Uh, on Wednesday, early in the morning, some folks had gone to bed and waking up, kept checking 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2:30, looking for election results. And finally, and like I said, if you lived here in the state, there would be a propensity to ask yourself, like, did we do everything we could have done? But when you look at the fact that some 15 million fewer voters showed up in relationship to supporting Kamala Harris than showed up to support Joe Biden back in 2020. He had roughly about 81 million people when he and Trump went head to head. The numbers will probably increase some, but little Vice President Kamala Harris had 65 million plus. So we're off, like, seriously. And Wisconsin, if every voter in Wisconsin or every individual who could vote or couldn't vote, if every resident of Wisconsin voted, we still wouldn't have been able to deliver the victory because we got 6 million people in our total state. Registered voters or eligible voters, I should say, that's probably about 3 million people. Um, so there was stuff that was going on around the country that certainly fed into what we have seen by way of these election results. For folks that are watching their televisions, you got other media going on in the background. Your phone may have pinged. Last night, as things were becoming clearer that the vice president was not going to be successful, there was a watch party over at Howard University. And I think it was Cedric Richmond who came out and greeted the students in the crowd. There were thousands of people there to let them know that she would not make a statement, last night, but that she would certainly return to the campus today to make a statement. So the TVs are queued up, the press is there, students and young people, supporters are everywhere. It was set for about 3 o'clock today, 4 o'clock Eastern time, and we are waiting for her to come up and to talk about her race. And she did call Donald Trump to make a concession statement. Uh, I'm sure she did much more than he ever would have done. That level of respect and dignity in class just ain't in him. So,
yeah,
I just love the fact that even when you have got to be at your lowest or you're most frustrated or you're most hurt, that you still do business. You still take care of
yeah,
business. And that's what she has exhibited all throughout, that you don't get to shirk your responsibilities. You don't get to usurp the process. You don't get to, throw an insurrection because you didn't win an election and lose your way. Um, Class at its utmost, but leadership more importantly. Like, she is showing more courage and I don't want to say tenacity. She is showing more courage and leadership than Donald Trump has in his fingernail. Like, literally, if this had gone the other way, it would look nothing like it does today.
nothing like
Peaceful, quiet. There will be an orderly transition of power. It would look nothing like this had it gone the other way. So I continue to have tall respect for Vice President Kamala Harris. the Biden administration, the folks on her team that have handled all of this, the way we expect elections to go in this country, and not with the tomfoolery, buffoonery, and ignorance that emulates from everything that Donald Trump does. Let me say hey to Carvey. What's up, bro? How you doing over there? All right, family. So while we await her concession speech, I took a moment because I've been trying to think about how to approach some of this. I know that some people texted me looking for something, whether it was somebody to commiserate with, whether it was somebody to, say something inspiring, whether it was just somebody to talk through how they were feeling. I've been inundated right now. I haven't been able to get to folks, but I will return calls, I promise. But I thought about when I was in high school, I had a teacher, an AKA, and she was in charge of a program we were doing at school. And she wanted a literary or an arts focus to this program. It was a competition. And she said, Michelle, find you something to do. Find you a poem, sing, whatever, find something to do. I want you in it. And I settled on doing a poem by Langston Hughes that over the years had become one of my favorites, Mother to Son.
Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. But all the time I's been a climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now. For I's are still going, honey. I's are still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
So that poem, as voiced, that was none other than the Viola Davis. Now, I'd like to believe that I think I had Claude Bennett sit at my knee as I was dressed as an elderly woman in a rocking chair, and I recited that poem. I'd like to believe that in my 16, 17-year-old self, I sounded as good as Viola Davis, but the likelihood is great that I didn't, even though, you know, I got a good grade. I did well in the competition. But I was drawn to that memory because as we think about how we work through loss, how we deal with disappointment, for those folks that are in fact disappointed about last night's election results, when Langston Hughes wrote the poem Mother to Son, and this was written in 1922, and Langston Hughes, um, the work that he did, penned many of the most iconic pieces of literature, music in our community. But it was about conveying the message of perseverance and resilience in the face of adversity. It was particularly aimed at young African Americans who were navigating the challenges of segregation and racial discrimination. And he used that metaphor of the staircase, a difficult staircase that had obstacles that you would encounter just in terms of life. And if you add Black life to that equation, being Black to that equation, that without fail, you were going to go in some dark places and you were going to have days that you felt like giving up and you couldn't see a way out, or the staircase was never ending. And the more you each time you took a step, it felt like somebody kept pushing you back. But at the end, you get this glimmer of hope, this encouragement that you keep fighting, keep climbing and moving forward. All this time, I've been moving on. And then she ends it with the acknowledgement. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. That stayed with me all day today as I've been processing what I felt about witnessing what happened yesterday in this country. I come at it from a two-pronged approach, and callers, I see you, I'll be right there. But I come at it as a Black person, and I come at it as a woman in the way I think about this as adversity or a setback or, a fail in terms of, when Hillary Clinton lost, she talked about putting millions of cracks in that glass ceiling. And there have been folks that have now said, just don't feel like glass above women's head. It feels like concrete. I had somebody say to me last night, no, it just feels like the boot of a man just sitting on top of my head, and refusing to allow me to rise for no other reason than my gender. But if given the opportunity, I'm running circles at this cat. Like when I tell you the young sisters that hit me up that was on fire last night because they just couldn't believe this was so unattainable for such a woman that was so qualified. And I had some sisters that's struggling too. In fact, that's getting their GED. And they was like, if this how they treat Kamala, what they got for me? And I found myself saying, we gonna have setbacks, y'all. That's the game. We gonna come up against brick walls. Check the history. That's why it's important that you understand history, because you can build on that to make change and to understand how to fight, what was tried, what was successful, and where we go from here. And real quickly, and callers, give me 1 second, I'm coming. Because then I was forced to think about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he penned the book, Where Do We Go From Here? After the 1965 Voting Rights Act was passed. And he was like, okay, y'all, we've made these demands. We've secured this right. Now, what do we do with it? And so to replay that in my mind, if you've ever read Where Do We Go From Here, if you've ever understood that he was trying to say, look, we're coming off the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Now we follow it quickly with the 1965 Voting Rights Act. How do we harness this power? What do we do with this opportunity to be able to vote? And then you watch people stay home. I'm gonna play this out, but I don't want to keep people holding much longer. So let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yes, this is Greg from the Whitefish Bay area. Michelle.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I want to thank you for clarifying or checking that brother that called in with his issues about the immigrants coming to this country this morning.
Oh, yes.
You handled it very well. I want to make a comment that for African American men, or even our population, to be concerned about migrants who walk thousands of miles looking for a better way of life, and we're at odds with that, that is not even logical. you're at odds with someone walking to eat or to be safe or to look for a better way of life, and you fell for what the media or the majority population was telling you what is the problem in this country. As African Americans, we fell for that lie. We fell for that. I'm not at odds with migrants. Most people don't even come in contact with migrants. Do you know that, Michelle? Most people don't even interact with them. So why would they even be concerned? You know what I mean? And as you check the brother, what jobs or what did they get that you don't have or couldn't get or you don't have the opportunity? I would like to tell brothers that if you're worrying about migrants getting something, the best thing you can do as an African American male is take care of your family, raise your kids with respect, dignity, and teach them. Do not sit here and play in the game talking about migrants. The last comment I want to make is about the word migrants. With the Republican Party, migrants, they're not necessarily talking about people coming across a border. They are talking about people of color, which I am a part of, and I think you're a part of as well. That's a code word. The same thing when they talk about transgender and they scare you about transgender men or whatever going in to be with little girls. They're not talking about transgenders. They're attacking LGBTQ people. Anyone that is at odds with their religious or they don't understand. That's really what they're talking to, and that's how they got the votes out. That's how they fearmongered folks into voting, and people fell for that line. You know what I mean? Because everybody in this country at some point in time is a migrant, except for us. We were slaves. You follow me?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, if you ever get a brother that call in or tell you that they voted for Trump and this and that, I don't want to be mean, but they are misguided. And they're drinking some Kool-Aid that's not going to be good for them, because there are so many much more important issues that, like you said, they should be out fighting for their offspring, for their family, for their parents. You know what I mean? What about our health care? What about our retirement? The majority of these Republicans want to put retirement into 401ks, into the stock market. Well, the last time I checked, all that can be wiped out with the press of a button. And then what happens? Right? What happens? You done work 30 years, and what happens? You know what I mean? Oh well, stock market crash. So we got to be real careful on what's going on here. So, and one final thing, I want to thank all the young people that did get out and vote, because anyone I ran across and they were young, I made sure I asked them, "Are you voting?" So for the young folks that went out and voted, thank you, and stay engaged. Stay engaged. Stay in the struggle.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for the call. And let me just say this too, because that's a part of the show this afternoon, this morning. I'm fresh off everything, functioning on a little sleep. But we do have to acknowledge all of the people that worked, all of the people that showed up, all of the people that may have made a decision even late in the game that I'm going to go vote, be a part of this process, and I'm actually going to vote for Kamala Harris. There's a huge thank you that's owed to this community, because while folks, some folks stayed home, we know that so many more showed up. Now, that number that stayed home was enough to throw an election and to shift the momentum, but we can't ever sleep on one and not take a moment to think about and appreciate the hard work that was done in a short amount of time to try to get this sister across the finish line. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good evening. I couldn't let you go, girl.
Well, go ahead. What you got?
Hey, listen. I just heard the lower caller call, but you played a poem that was heart wrenching. But let's be realistic here. We're talking about fighting. We got to keep the struggle. We got to keep the struggle going, right? We got to keep going forward. If we lost, we got to keep going. We got to keep pushing forward. That's the message, okay, that I'm getting from the Democrat Party. But listen, if we keep the struggle going right there, then we pause. And you know what? The other people go forward because we're still right there. And that's where white folk and black folk that's getting paid to keep us there want us to keep that struggle going. We got to keep going. We got to keep fighting. So who we fighting? Look like we fighting ourselves, Michelle. And it's time. No, listen. I know it's okay because I'm waiting right now. I'm waiting to hear from some people. My team worked from the UP, the Upper Peninsula, from Hurley, Wisconsin, all the way down to Kenosha into Zion. And guess what? We was getting down. And you know something? Eric Hubby, I like him, but he didn't participate in my side. They said we was dirty. Okay, I hope they're listening. Somebody called me and said we want to do it. We want to get out, but guess what? So we had to push past him. We was hoping that the people that voted for Trump would get on with him, but he didn't touch the Negroes, the players that get down.
So wait.
Sure, come on with it.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. So you were campaigning for Donald Trump. You said
I wasn't campaigning nothing. I got a group of independents.
I'm just trying to understand.
No, we'll make it clean then, because I need to make it clean.
Well, I'm trying to ask the question. So you said that from the Upper Peninsula, I guess
all the way down to past Kenosha into
I got you. Okay, so but what were you doing?
We was generating and galvanizing the black male vote.
For who?
For Donald Trump.
Well, then you were campaigning for Trump, Negro.
But hold on.
Get off my phone. Bye. You said, look, y'all. Just man up and say what it is you do. All this tap dancing and the vice president is speaking. Is there any way we can get her up? But I have to let you go because number one, I want to hear what the vice president got to say. But number two, I asked you, I said, what was you doing? Campaigning for Trump? No. Well, what was you doing? We was out here. You know what words he used. You know, who was you trying to turn people out for? Let me hear what my sister's talking about and I'll come back.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. Full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it. Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
Vice President Kamala Harris at Howard University, likely the most difficult speech of her career.
So
Pimp too.
I would tell you, you gotta figure out. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, Democratic candidate for the 2024 presidential election, just made her concession speech at Howard on the campus of Howard University. We heard her say "HU." I'll take a second and talk about that, but before I do, Jermaine comes back in with, my song "Bad Girl," and when I tell you, I just can't hear it and not smile. I don't care what nobody say, because I understand as a woman all that it takes to function in this world, and that you got to have a lot of things going for you. You got to have some faith. You got to have some sass. You got to have some grit. You got to have some independence. You got to have some fight. You got to have some I wish you would. You got to have all those things. And you got to respect how people show up and bring their stuff to the table, because you don't know what people have been through to stand, to be here in this moment. When I spoke with the vice president on yesterday, I ended our conversation by talking about her mother and what her mother would be thinking watching her daughter ascend to this moment. Her mother had lived to see her become elected in other capacities, but to be in that moment. And you think about, her mom was 19 years old when she packed up and came to America in search of a better life and wanting to find a cure for breast cancer. And then she gets married, and after several years it does not work. She becomes the custodial parent of those two children, and this woman fights for their existence. She fights for their survival. She saves and scrimps every penny to be able to buy their home. And every step of the way, she taking these kids to rallies, and when she was married, her husband and she both took them. And she always demonstrated to them that service is a part of our DNA. And you're going to learn that right now. So when Kamala was just standing there and the vice president was just standing there, when Jay first looked up, because you're looking for how people are handling these moments. Because, these are difficult, heavy, in some cases, crushing moments. Because 24 hours ago, there was the possibility that this woman would be getting ready for an inauguration on January 20th. And I know that there was a Hillary Clinton sitting there that understood this moment. I know that Shirley Chisholm was looking down and understood this moment. I know that, what was her name? Oh, Diane. Oh my God, I can't remember her name. But no, Geraldine Ford or Geraldine Farrar. I know that Geraldine Farrar is standing there looking at this like, there are women who understand the moment that she is in to be wholly qualified. And I heard Keith say this morning, sometimes the qualified person don't win. Sometimes the best candidate for the job doesn't win. But we got to ask ourselves in this country, why? Why is that possible? And so to see her, I didn't expect a smile during her concession speech. I'm looking into the sea of faces that's watching her, and it's young women in their 20s that are crying. Tears are rolling down their eyes, and men too. I see them in the crowd because of what was possible just 24 hours ago. And just like that caring big sister that when Keith talked to Maya, and we talked about after she got off the phone, that Maya had, Kamala Harris's younger sister, had this bounce and this bubble in her laugh and in her, the way she communicated, like she sounds like a happy person. It comes through the phone. And it was because you understood, you got the protection of your family. You got a big sister that'll ride or die for you, whoop somebody's behind for you. Because if you go back and you look at all those childhood photos, Kamala's face is serious. Maya kicking it like, my life is carefree because my sister got me. Yep. I'm out here to play because she handling the business. And I'm not saying that Maya has not gone on to be accomplished and successful in her own right. But there is something that goes with my brother, my people in my family know if they call me, the cavalry is on the way. My friends know that. That's what Kamala Harris demonstrated today. She was able to tell folks it's going to be okay. Similar to the mother to son poem. I've gone into places where there ain't been no light. And Kamala said, I'm hoping that it doesn't happen, but if it feels like we're in a dark place in this country, that's when you can see the stars. For me, those stars are the people who fight in spite of the darkness. The people who say, hey, over here is the pathway out. Hey, over here, this is the North Star. Hey, over here, we can help get us out of this situation. And if there are enough stars, we get to daylight. Think about the North Star in relationship to the Underground Railroad. It was better to travel at night because you had directions. Think about that. Under the cover of darkness, you had safety to emerge on the other side. Jermaine, Carvey, y'all heard the speech, comments, feedback, and anyone else that's at home that was listening. If you want to take a moment, tell me how you feel about the election. Tell me about how you feel about what you just heard. Whatever it is you want to say, give us a call, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Jay?
Yeah, you know me, normally I'll be clowning, having a crazy time, but I just feel that this is one of those times that I got to be serious.
Okay.
Only for 5 minutes though, and then I'm back.
Oh my God, I can't believe you got me.
I'm only gonna be serious for a minute.
I'm so mad that you got me.
Yes, because us Cubans, we jumping on a boat and we're leaving America. We're out of here. Bye bye America. No more voting for me, man. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, man.
Well, when is your 5 minutes of serious gonna happen?
Oh well, okay. I guess I got 4 minutes. No, but all seriousness, it's kind of scary that for the young black men that voted for Trump, hearing the things that he said, and just even looking at that rally at Madison Square Garden that had it had a real bad scent of Nazism, if that's even a word. I just made it up, but that's what it seemed like from the rally, and then just to hear some of the conversations. And to be honest with you,
Nazism is a word.
Okay. Well, I guess I am smart. I got 3 more minutes to go before the foolishness return. No, but in all seriousness, from some of the stuff that I was hearing from some of the black men, I could have really been petty because from some of the guys that was talking about, they don't want a woman to tell them what to do, and she can have a bad day. She can be on, she can be on her monthly cycle and press the button and all type of stupid stuff I've heard people say. But I really wanted to get petty and say, some of you cats would be in deeper trouble if this cat was in office prior to, because with the abortion rights and things like that, I know some people personally that have had abortions, and that kind of made their partner who they was with have an abortion because they didn't want to have any kids at that particular time. So if we really want to be, if we really want to talk about it, let's talk about it, because that would have never even been an option, and you would have had probably 3 or 4 more kids, and probably a kid with somebody that you weren't supposed to even been land with in the first place. But I'm not even gonna open up that door because it's some people that's probably listening to me that I'm probably gonna have to punch in the mouth if they say something to me. But it's just the whole thing of let's be serious, man. Let's, come on, man. Y'all voted for this clown?
I mean, and I want to be clear, because we got issues we can lay in a number of places with a number of people from a number of different arenas. So whether we talking about young bros out in the streets, whether we talking about white women, whether we talking about white men, they said the sleeper in this election was young white men who showed up in droves to register to vote for Trump. Whether we talk about old black men who should know better, because you have seen it if you paid attention what this country has been. Some of y'all have lived through some of the civil rights, marches, so you know better. And then you got elected officials who could have did way more work in their districts to help turn out the vote, way more. Instead of just waiting for somebody to call you and say, can you make an appearance at an event? Then you have C-suite brothers who, were having conversations amongst themselves that the economy under a Trump was good for them. And so that's what they were doing. The community be damned. And then there were elements of misogyny in those conversations. We can look all around. By which to be frustrated. This is one time, when that phrase from DJ, ain't nobody getting no passes.
Yeah.
We can say that. So I guess, and I think I said it this morning. I wasn't sure if I said it out loud because I've been talking to myself and talking to myself in the truck and talking to myself in the bathroom when I'm going in to brush my teeth. I can't brush my teeth because I'm talking to myself out loud. And I'm just like, there's like this really, you talked about you don't want to be petty, but there's like this part of me that like, I got to fight the desire to say, I hope y'all get everything y'all got coming.
Yeah.
For messing with this dude.
Yeah.
Because it ain't about to be no party for y'all.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you black, white, female, male, young, old, the likelihood that you are going to be negatively impacted by Donald Trump's administration and leadership is great. It is great. Even his supporters are going. Lots of Trump supporters died during COVID-19. They weren't exempt. Unemployment, it didn't miss them. Businesses shuttered, it didn't miss them. Your kids missing school, it didn't miss them. And so I got to work on me. That's the part where I probably need to be praying harder and be in a church or working on Michelle, because there's this little bitty, it's like I said, when you're driving down the street and a reckless driver come flying by you, you'd be like, I wish she hit a pole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to die, but I want you to just break about 5-6 bones because you just so irresponsible. You putting everybody else in harm's way. And what happens? They sail on through the light. And y'all all just sitting there just watching them go. And you like, they got away with it again. But the reality is I have learned eventually it catches up with you.
Yeah.
It looks like you want to say something.
Yeah. I'm just, a whole lot of people, they don't pay attention to, to the news, some people look at it like, well, I'm not going to watch this stuff because it's fake news and this and this and that. Which I agree that they don't tell you everything, but they tell you something. And it's for you to filter out, that was for you. Just hearing what Elon Musk said, what's going to happen under Trump, is mind-baffling. Like he said that it's going to be a period of time of hardship, that we have to live amongst our means, and it's a period of time that it's going to be hardship, but it's going to be better for the economy for the future. And it's just crazy.
And I just want
me.
to say, so this is a man who has $75 million
So he's not
of
going
his
to experience
personal
hardship.
money to put into Donald Trump's campaign.
So he's not even going to
He's
experience hardship.
He's what they call a mega billionaire. You got $75 million to trick on Donald Trump's campaign. And then you talk about folks needing to tighten their belt and some hardship is going to happen and wasteful programs will be eliminated or slashed. And what programs would be considered wasteful? And what programs would be slashed? Because they have even talked about the free lunch programs that kids get at school and public education. You know, what is it that he thinks? Because remember, when Elon Musk goes into Twitter, you gut the company. You move all of the quality control people, all of the folks that would be responsible for making sure what's going on in his content is appropriate and non-discriminatory, non-offensive. You fire all them people. You toilet Twitter after taking over. So when on social media, an anonymous user posted, quote, if Trump wins, if Trump succeeds in forcing through mass deportations, combined with Elon hacking away at the government, firing people and reducing the deficit, there will be an initial severe overreaction in the economy. Market will tumble. But when the storm passes and everyone realizes we are on sounder footing, there will be a rapid recovery to a healthier, sustainable economy. And to that, Elon Musk replied, sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are going to lose everything while you all decide that you know best what's best for this country?
You know, I just want to know if it's okay if I play this clip so they can hear it out of Elon's mouth.
Go ahead.
Themselves to what this guy said about being under Trump.
Let's take a listen.
We have to reduce spending to live within our means. And that necessarily involves some temporary hardship, but it will ensure long-term prosperity.
So
already, U.S. retailers have said that that they will increase prices if Trump is elected in order to offset the impact of his 10% universal tariff on imports. Yeah. Trump's plan for mass deportation would trigger severe labor shortages in the construction, agricultural sectors, rendering food and housing more expensive. These immediate disruptions would not raise American wages in the long run, but rather make the economy less productive. Medicare, Social Security, more difficult to sustain. Musk's plans for slashing federal spending would be similarly calamitous. He has offered few details about his vision for downsizing the government, but has suggested that the federal government's $6.75 trillion budget should be cut by at least $2 trillion.
That's unbelievable.
Austerity on that scale would disrupt a myriad of government services on which Democrats and Republicans rely, while threatening to throw the U.S. economy into a severe recession. And there is little basis for believing that an economic paradise would rise from these ashes. The first component of a joint Trump-Musk economic vision is a sweeping tariff regime. That's that 10 to 20% tariffs that Trump has said he will make universal on at least 60% tariff on imports from China. I'm going to take this call, but when you speak to someone like a Elon Musk who just fires people at will and on the auspices of creating a leaner machine, but you actually strip it of the very people that are needed to make sure that it functions properly. But you got enough money to backfill your stupid mistakes. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi. Just calling to comment post election.
Yes.
It's
poem that you had was pretty inspiring, and got an opportunity to work as a election observer
Okay.
for the first time at the
Wonderful.
place that I normally vote in person, but I voted early.
Okay.
But I've spoken to a lot of women in this community who are, politically involved, and they share a lot of stuff with me, and they kind of act as the matriarchs to encourage me to stay involved with the political process. And I went to see when Obama came here on Sunday, and had decided I want to get involved, but I didn't want to knock on doors or make phone calls. And somebody pointed out, why don't you observe at the polls? And I'm like, didn't know that was an option. So I went ahead, got involved with that. And I was over at the site over off of 18th and Cherry or Juno or whatever it is. And that was one of the best experiences I've ever had, because I got a chance to see democracy in action. And I got to give the community credit for coming out, and young people, old people brought their children right off the school bus, people in wheelchairs, walkers, canes, scooters, college students from Marquette, just all walks of life, all people who are immigrants who could vote. It was very interesting, and these people came steadily. And the women who ran that polling place did an outstanding job. There were no major issues of any kind. All the while I was watching the national results come back. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to skew anybody's, incentive.
Right.
But I felt like we got a chance while I was there. And I left at 8:00. And by 10:00, I realized this is going to be tough. Everybody told me it was going to be tough. And I am so disappointed that certain folks didn't do what they knew was the right thing to do. And I just don't get it. I was waiting to hear the discussion about who voted and how did people vote. And the first time we voted for Trump, it was by accident. Or people who voted, it was by accident, take a chance. This time it was intentional. But he got more votes this time than he did the first time, and you knew what he did the first time. So that says a whole lot about where we are as a society.
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you so much for working at the polls in the capacity that you did as an observer. I had a number of brothers who reached out to say that they actually did that. They wanted to be a part of the process in that way. It makes a difference. So let me ask you, do you do it again?
Absolutely. And here's the deal. The thing that was most ironic about the whole situation was, here we got, and I wanted to recapture the Obama moment, right? So I'm saying, I'm gonna do this, right? And I said, we got an excellent candidate. She's qualified. If people do what's logical, she should win. I'm not saying she should win in a landslide, because she was at a disadvantage, having to put a campaign together in 100 days and running against a guy who's been campaigning for the past 9 years.
Right.
And she did an excellent job. I just don't like the double standard. She's asked to do things to be super excellent, walk on water. And this dude ain't got to do nothing but act as a comedian, and a bad one at that. He's not qualified. He's mentally unstable. And this is who these people voted for. That says a whole lot. And the other thing that got me was women, black women, old black women, middle-aged black women, young black women showed up to put the work in. And I figured that's the least I could do, is show up and be there to watch them do their thing. So they were qualified for executing the election, for being the candidate. And for some of us to discount the fact that a woman, quote unquote, she can't be president, there's something wrong with us. If that's how you feel, there's something wrong with you.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. And thank you for the work. Got another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Well, first thing I want to say is I want to say thank you to all you black renegades that's out there. But let's keep it 100, okay? Self-hate is real when it comes to black women, and some of our men are pussy willows and dandelions. I hear time and time, we need a seat at the table. I don't need a seat at your table. I don't need your welfare. And I don't need you to feel like I'm somebody. But put on your seatbelt, Michelle, because here is where it gets rich. I heard a lot of Bible thumpers, they talk about I see this ain't no party. People shaking booties and pushing whole culture. My question to you listeners, do you think somebody who's never been married a day in their life wasn't a hoe one time in their life? Because I posed that question to two people. I said, you ever been a hoe? So somebody said, one person didn't answer the question. The other person said never. And I said, you a lie because you changed ways quicker than Sodom and Gomorrah. And your words was when you was in high school, somebody paid your cell phone bill. That's the foundation of economics. Okay. Let's go a step further, Michelle. I hear a lot of religious people talk about this, but a lot of those religious people got their husbands from somebody else's wife when they were in the church. Okay. And a lot of them sit there and say they're against abortion. Okay. Got your seatbelt on. But dentists know how many abortions you have had. So why are we trying to sit here and act like we're so great and we're so pure and we're so real? Because I'm a keeper 100. I always clean my sheets, and I don't never claim to be pure. But if you are going to be a voice for people, don't try to act like everything about you is clean. Because keep in mind, when you open that Bible, when you close that Bible, somebody's legs is open. And it's been some pH balances that's been off, a couple of STDs. It's been a lot of gingivitis.
Okay, Al.
But Michelle.
Gingivitis.
Yes, Al. Yes.
But the thing is, Michelle, you have all these people trying to get so biblical and so self-righteous.
I know.
But check this out, Michelle.
Yes.
What do you think gonna happen if you pull them drawers and them panties down? I bet you it'll be a lifetime story. Have a great day.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
It's just don't never be easy. It's just so never.
That's a fight you ain't gonna never win.
It just don't never be easy. It's just don't never be easy.
That cat is hilarious.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
did he say some of y'all husbands with somebody else's?
He said gingivitis. Saying they need Listerine, Jack. That's what you said.
Oh my God! I just
the funniest.
Him and me the same day.
Oh man,
same show. Let me go to the phone line. Hey caller, what's happening? Oof. Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fairly well.
Okay.
I was talking about the vote yesterday. I believe that those discs were switched out. When they had that problem with that machine door, which is ironic, I don't see how. I believe Thomas, when they came up here all the way from Madison, they switched out them discs. Because there's no way Trump should have won Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, we gotta be willing to think about it. That's why we're called a swing state, because and I used this example this morning, we elected Barack Obama and Scott Walker at the same time. We are capable of choosing a Republican to be president. This is not a blue state. It does swing 50-50. That's why we got a legislature, in also addition to them cheating, but we have a legislature that's predominantly Republican. I mean, when you think about our numbers, Black folks are only 13% of the state's population. I'm sorry, that's way too high. Black people are only 7% of the state's population. The minority population is only 13%. Every person that's not white that lives in the state, we still all put together only comprise about 13% of the state's population. This is a 87% white state. And it is a predominantly red state when you look at the counties. The only blue counties of these 72 counties, Milwaukee, Dane, Beloit, Rock County, Racine, but you can count them on one or two hands. How many blue counties we have in a 72 county state. So as somebody who has sat in the room and looked at a lot of these numbers, it is very believable that Trump could have won Wisconsin if these people who traditionally stay home decide to come out and the folks who normally would have came out decided to stay home. We had a lot of people that stayed home. Those 30,000 ballots, 31,000 ballots. And then I want to just say this. The chair of the election commission was sitting in the studio yesterday. He is a Democrat. And there are 2 Democrats that sit on that commission with 1 Republican. If I believe that makeup is right, it's 3 of them. Paulina Gutierrez, while I don't know, I believe her political affiliation is also a Democrat. So there are people, but there were Republicans that were watching too. So there were people that play for our team that are a part of this mix. It wasn't like, Republicans had full access to these machines and could just do anything under the cover of dark. There were people down there who identify as Democrats who were watching this process and a part of it. So that's the only thing I would ask you to consider, is that we appreciate the dynamics because we get fooled living in Milwaukee, but it's not that many of us in this state. If we remove all the other minorities and just say Black people, then 94% of the state is something else, and 6% of the state is Black people. Thank you, caller.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, I appreciate that, but I heard the young man call in a few minutes ago, and he was talking about changing his sheets, and all of that. And I mean, a lot of, and you were just overwhelmed with glean,
Was I overwhelmed with glean? Was
yes,
I?
You were just over. Yes, you were. You were overwhelmed with gleam, and I wonder
what I was overwhelmed with. What?
Gleam, excitement.
Was it excitement? Was it?
I mean, well, you were very. I mean, it was very humorous to you. At some of the stuff my man was saying about.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about a few people that I know, but he talked about changing his
He was talking about you.
Well, that's cool. He was talking about changing his sheet. Well, I think he should change his sheet. They might
What you calling for? What you calling for? What you calling for? What you calling for?
Because my man need to change his sheet.
Okay, you already made your point. You made your point.
Now we want to go here. You talked about 12%. You talk about 20% of the black vote that Trump received, right?
Well, I wasn't talking about it, but go ahead. What about it?
Well, hold on. We got to realize something. That we got to quit fighting about what we did and keeping the fight going. Because I talked to somebody, what we going to do, keep fighting with the air? Or I was trying to
We're not fighting with the air. We're not fighting with the air.
Well, if we keep talking about the fight, other people coming into this country, Michelle, they're not talking about the fight.
Because they don't have our experience, Meech. They don't have to go through what we go through.
Guess what?
Their skin color alone affords them a different experience, Meech.
Okay, well, check this out.
So why would I be worried about what other people do?
These are facts. Let me give you some facts. The facts is...
Meech, you wouldn't know a fact if it smacked you upside the head. But go ahead.
I know that. Don't worry about it. 20%. Listen to this here. In Wisconsin, Trump received about 20% of the black vote.
I know.
Now, in Pennsylvania, watch this. In Pennsylvania, he got 25% of the black vote. Okay? Trump won Stark County, Texas. Guess what? It ain't went
What's your point, man?
Hold on. It ain't went Republican since 1892. But guess what? He got.
What is your point?
My point is that black men are speaking out, and we're gonna need y'all sisters
No.
and quit acting funky and funny.
It ain't about acting funky and funny. It's about understanding how this works. It's about understanding what we stand to gain or lose. It's about doing our homework and not having somebody walking around with a court jester hat on telling us to get on the Trump train when I got a racist driving the train. It's not about sisters needing to follow bros that's trying to lead us into the valley. That's not how this goes. That's not how it goes. That's not how it go, Meech. That's not how it go.
Listen, this is what I want you to understand.
I want you to understand. I don't need to follow. I don't need to follow. I know how to read for myself. I know that my reproductive freedoms are at stake. You don't have to worry about
reproduce no more.
you.
You don't me.
But I'm worried about the other children.
No
What they got to do with other women?
This what
they got to do with other women? What they got to do with other women?
Me and you.
So
We need
again,
them to keep me and you
don't
alive.
act like this is one conversation that's just about me. It's about the entire community.
It's about me as well.
You know, and so I'm just gonna say, bruh, I don't need you with your lack of understanding to lead me nowhere. Have a nice day.
You know what, girl?
Nope. Have a nice day.
Hey, look,
have
I'm still waiting
bye.
for my
Bye.
to come in so we can
Bye.
have fun.
Yep,
Look
I know.
You
Come
ready
on
to
in.
run, ain't you?
You know what?
You ready to run from that realness?
I know that's what I look like. I do every day.
Exactly.
I run from you every day.
The only people that sit back and enjoy this is people that know that
you the person that enjoy it. You enjoy it. That's why you keep calling. Bye.
No,
bye, boy. Hang up on him, man. Got time aggravating. Oh my God. What he say? You love me. Remember that? Yes, what's wrong? You love me. You in love with me. I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
I finally got in.
Yes, you did.
And I'm gonna hold it forever against you for giving all of my time to your best love.
Oh, see, now you got to hung up on Dr. Ward.
Here's another thing.
Don't call here with that Dr. Ward.
Yesterday, this other Republican and Gerard showed us what you call him yesterday. I didn't think he could get that far gone. But anyway, that other guy, you were questioning him about why he wanted to sit beside you.
Oh, Will Martin.
You're still not woke after this lesson. I told you when somebody tries to insist on sitting close to you, they want to make arrangements.
but you know what, Dr. Ward? Ain't nobody got time for it.
You got to wake up.
You want to make arrangements. Bye, Dr. Ward.
I see it.
About to crack your own self up. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, y'all just keep them rolling. Keep them, Jermaine. Y'all just gonna keep them coming today. Don't answer that phone. Don't answer that phone for nobody else.
They coming in.
Don't answer that phone for nobody else. To Meech's point, though, went and pulled data. Support for President-elect Donald Trump soared among Black voters, doubling in Wisconsin, according to exit polls. So this is not data. This is just the polls. NBC News, which polled voters in 10 key states. And again, this is not concrete data. This is a poll. It was a snapshot. Said Trump support among Black voters in Wisconsin stands at around 21%, while Harris is at about 77%. This is up from 2020 when Trump won just 8% of Black voters in the Badger State. Nationwide exit polls show Harris trailing marginally behind her predecessors among Black voters on 86%, down from Joe Biden's 87%, and Hillary Clinton had 88%. So the Black woman, not substantially worse, but did worse than the white man and the white woman with Black voters. You gotta love that moment. But with that being said, we know that there was a real concerted effort to muddy up Kamala Harris with Black male voters. We know people talked about her being a prosecutor. And then when the data comes out, people talk about it was thousands and thousands of cases. And folks was like, it was actually 45. And of the 45, we don't even know the racial breakdown of some of those cases. The arguments weakened and weakened. So then it was she slept her way to the top. And then she had to be called all out her name. And, you know, at the end of the day, though, like I said, and then some brush trying to make my kids gay. Like, your kid's going to be gay, whether you want them to or not. And it ain't got nothing to do with Kamala Harris. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Zero. How many people is gay in America and Kamala Harris ain't never met him? Tammy Baldwin has never met them. What? How many? Because I heard Keith talking, earlier, making some of the same conversations and points that I've made. And I heard, the listener who got at him, talking about, whatever it was. But Tammy Baldwin's sexuality was brought up to do just what it did. To bring the people who don't like the LGBTQ community, who have a problem with how other folks live their life. That's what it was intended to do. Because if they wanted to make the point to what the listener said to Keith in the piece that he read, if they wanted to make the point that she, didn't live in the state because she resided in New York, that's all they had to say. They had to say nothing about her girlfriend. They could have just said she got an address that she frequently frequents in New York. But you said the girlfriend so that it would be salacious. So that it would be, spicy. Be hot like Nikki. That's why.
Where's Nikki?
That's why you said it. And we supposed to all be dumb and not appreciate why you said it. Either way, all the black folks that voted for Donald Trump, I want to see all you Negroes at the end of, how long am I going to give it? I'll give you 365 days. I want to see you this time in 2025, and I want you to tell me what you got. I want you to tell me what you got. I don't want anecdotes. I don't want concepts. I want you to tell me what you got. In relationship to Elon Musk, let me just say this. The successful one who talks about trimming, the budget by $2 trillion. I hope that includes the number of government contracts that his companies have been able to make their bread and butter off of. Because when you talk about corporate welfare and the grants that have been given, because see, Elon Musk will have people believe he's a self-made mega billionaire. But when you look at where his money comes from, oh, wait, another immigrant, because Elon Musk is from South Africa. He wasn't born in America. He's from Pretoria. Isn't that amazing? How all these folks are anti-immigrant, anti-migrant, but your wives is immigrants or their parents is immigrants. Your boys that you surround yourself with is immigrants. Like, isn't that just amazing?
It really makes you
because the rules don't apply to you.
Yeah, it really make you think.
They don't apply to you. So I can't wait to see what happens with China and the tariffs, because most of Tesla's parts, guess where they come from? China. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I gotta take a break.
supermodel.
fumes, but to look around the country and see what was done. We also got to talk about what happened here locally at the state level. We know that the referendum that was on the ballot ends up passing. The Republicans initiated it, talking about who has the ability to vote in this state. And as some Republicans have conceded, we have had no such problems. But, you know, uh, what do they say? Just, on the safe side. Anytime Republicans start trying to get their hands on your rights to vote, you need to be careful. But there have also been some conversations about, waiting to see, since the new redistricting maps went into play, how the legislature, their makeup would change or shift. So right now in the assembly, there are 99 members of the assembly. As a result of the changes in the maps that were used for this election, that number breaks out now: 54 Republicans and 45 Democrats. Basically, is what we're looking at. In the Senate, it used to be 22-20 in terms of the Republicans versus the Democrats, and now it's 18-15 in the way that I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It went from down from 22 to 20 down to 18-15. So now, Robin Voss has already jumped down and says, yep, we waiting to set the agenda because they control both houses still. Our line of defense continues to be having a Democratic governor. And when we talk about the ability for them to have super majorities to be able to override a decision or a veto by Governor Evers, we in a different ball game now. But know that Robin Voss is continuing to seek the speakership, and it's been interesting how this is going to play out because Donald Trump was at Robin Voss. He didn't think Robin Voss did enough to try to steal him some votes. And so even though Robin Voss spent $1 million of Wisconsin taxpayer money. So when, you got all these Republicans on here crying, talking about did some money go from FEMA to some migrants or not migrants, but immigrants, you should be crying about the $1 million that Robin Voss spent, knowing damn well that he was just trying to placate Donald Trump and make him happy and kiss the ring, that there was no voter fraud in Wisconsin. And Gableman knew it too. And pimps taxpayers, because I love how Republicans can always figure out how to talk about somebody being on welfare, but figure out how to get a cut of the pie for themselves. How they figure out a way to put some wins in their bank account off state taxpayers. Oh, because how many times, let's start counting, Trump will end up at Mar-a-Lago every week, bilking the taxpayers out of hundreds of thousands of dollars at his personal properties. Let's start that tally on January 20th. So Robin Voss is going to run for speaker again. And, he was whining, talking about Democrats only took seats they gained through advantages with the redrawn maps. That's how y'all been getting y'all seats the whole time. I just love it that when somebody else beats you at your own game, now you want to cry about the rules of the game. Republicans been cheating forever in Wisconsin on redistricting. Forever. And he says we were able to win with maps drawn by a federal court. The maps still wasn't as fair as they could have been. They were not. So, all is gloating now. But what I will be watching is to see how Robin Voss is going to get handled by Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is not a fan. And so while Robin Voss is out talking big boy strong, I don't know if you're going to get the Paul Ryan treatment or the Rance Previous treatment, because he do everything he can to snivel and suck up to try to, stay good with Trump and his family and the allies. But Robin Voss, Donald Trump put a bullseye on your back. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of this stuff plays out. We were trying to make sure that nothing crazy happened between now and the end of the year in relationship to the legislature. There is still some questions about if there's anything special session gets called, anything that could happen. But just understand this, that there are some folks that are happy about what happened in the legislature. We picked up 4 seats in districts that were heavily, fought after. People fought and showed up in these districts. That was in the 8th district, where Jody Havish Sinkin defeated Skeletor, Senator Dewey Strobel, and he's out of Cedarburg. That race, they spent $3 million. I'm pulling my information from an article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. And, in the suburbs, District 21, Representative Jesse Rodriguez out of Oak Creek narrowly defeats Democratic candidate David Marcella. But a lot of money got spent in those races. But either way, just appreciate that the game and the landscape is changing. That some of these super majorities, dang near, that Republicans have enjoyed in Wisconsin, at least for now, some of that's come to an end, which means that they're going to have to do business a little bit differently. Because at one time, they were 64 to 35 in the assembly. They could have all kind of Republicans defect and still get stuff through. That number drops significantly. Now it is a 9-vote margin between the Republicans and the Dems. That means that they're going to have to think about what it is they're doing and introducing on the floor. At least you would hope. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I know considered. What I can't understand is that here's a person telling you, I'm going to cut Social Security by 28%, and you vote for him? I mean, like, I'm going to cut your check in half, but I want you to vote for me. They did it. They actually voted for this man.
Yeah, I mean, again, the bros who was crying about Kamala Harris being a prosecutor, but this man tells you he's going to give police full immunity to bust your head, and it won't be anything you can do about it. But she was the bad guy. Yes, sir. But we got our work to do. Go ahead.
She just didn't have enough time. She didn't have enough time. That's all it was. A lot of people really didn't get to know her. But I heard y'all talk earlier. This is the second time that a sister was qualified. Because everybody knows Nina Taylor was definitely qualified to be the mayor of Milwaukee.
Right.
And now here, another woman that was qualified to be the president of the United States. And it's just like people just hate. I don't know what it is, why they hating on these sisters like that. But with that, I'll let that go, and you guys have a good one.
All right. Thank you. Y'all, let me play this for a second. I just want to play this for 1 second. Let me see if I can bring it up. Take this off. You ready? Okay.
On 17 and Milton, we can live there. Okay. So I don't understand how whoever's living here is associated with the house. I don't know if maybe, I'm thinking maybe it was a past family member of the... No, have you been here? It's a swap house. Okay, so it's going to be, I believe his name's Joseph. Is he a white or a black person? Is it a male, female?
He's a black person, like 41, 42. Yeah, that's what I heard from him.
Does he have a lazy eye?
Yeah. You're familiar? Yeah.
So the house went into foreclosure, you bought it. Did they say anything when you bought it that it's empty or anything?
It's empty. It's supposed to be empty. Because what I heard, the owner is deceased. There's nobody at the property.
Well, so it's a long story. I've been dealing with this house for years. The younger guy was like living in it with a lot of people, but it was like owned by a family member, and it was kind of a weird situation. But obviously now it's not owned by that family member, so he has no rights to be here.
Does he open the door or anything? Do you have keys to the place?
No, we never get the key from the sheriff. Usually we drill it and we go in.
Sure.
But he promised me gonna meet me there. So if we knock the door.
He got your text messages. He texted me yesterday that
Oh, you have his number and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got his number.
Oh, okay. And you said that you're willing to keep his stuff here for a period of time, and you're gonna buy him or something. You told me on the phone that you're gonna want to take him to a hotel.
Yeah, I pay him for 2 weeks money for the hotel, and I keep his stuff on the side.
Okay.
Wherever.
You know, trying to help him out because we need to remodel the whole house and then we need to put it back.
So y'all, I'm not gonna play the rest of this whole thing, but this is a story that makes the paper because the Greenfield Police Department here in Wisconsin and a new property owner remove a brother from a residence that he's been legally living in for 9 years without any court order eviction. And, they caught the whole thing on film and they asking somebody to leave, but you don't have no paperwork. The brother been a resident here for 9 years. Y'all new property owners. Clearly nobody has communicated anything to you. If this situation goes wrong, because the brother is trying to tell the police, I live here and have lived here for 9 years. I'm not a squatter. And the police rough him up because the brother is refusing to leave his own house. Donald Trump says, whatever happened to him, I'm with it. I'm with it. You legally been living in this house for 9 years. House gets sold, but you still are a tenant. You still are. You paid your rent. And this guy coming here, you don't have no paperwork whatsoever on this dude. I'm just saying. When bros and people talked about, let me stop saying bros in general. When some people talked about why they were in support of Donald Trump, you just wanted to walk through the whole thing and be like, so did you really understand what you was talking about? Really? Because you're telling me you don't want your kids next to people in the LGBTQ community, but you don't also want them to be taught about Black history in a way that's correct and appropriate. You telling me that, you want to be able to be successful and your man got money, but they're not getting ready to put no money in the affordable housing. You're not going to be able to afford no place to. Oh my God, I almost had a heart attack. I looked out the window. That looked like snow. It was so white outside. When I turned around, I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God. So I just want to say that. And I've had several people to hit me up like, but Michelle, did you take, wait, what is this? Oh, I'm not going to say that on the air. That was cold. Somebody said, did you talk at all about these 31,000 ballots? And, I'm just going to tell people it's a non-story. It seems like it's a story, but it's a non-story. Why do I say that? Because, and let me just pull it up because I actually took the time to make sure that I would be able to talk to y'all about it. One second. But this is a non-story. And I got people that are like, no, something happened with those. I got some more people that text me even since I said what I said. So just so we are clear. And look, I ain't going to tell you that I'm 100% right, but I'm going to tell you at least the story that we have been told. And that sounds plausible to me. That's what I will tell you. Okay. I lost my document. But anyway, they notice a latch on on several machines. I think it was 13 machines, that there's something wrong with this latch and that this door where these ballots are stored is open. And they call over election officials. Everybody looks and sees like, yep, we get some other people. So there's bipartisan. So everybody can see the same thing at the same time. And they say, we need to take those ballots out and make sure those ballots are recounted so that everything is good and above board. And there were people around, observers, election officials, that all stayed to observe those 31,000 ballots being recounted. So nothing was stolen or taken or switched out. And I know, people, because any little impropriety or anything that happens, we get nervous because I've heard the stories that go back years and years and years, even to when Marvin Pratt ran for office, about ballots being thrown away. We've heard these. I don't know how much of it is an urban legend, how much of it is really true, but we know that our community does not trust these systems. And I think in some cases, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But members of the public are there. They were able to walk through. They were able to see the equipment. So y'all, I don't know what else to tell y'all, because I'm getting inbox on Facebook. People like, Michelle, stop playing about these 31,000 ballots. I can't find anything that was done improperly. They realized that there's an equipment malfunction, and they're like, let's take these out and let's fix them. Let me say this though, because we all appreciate that there are going to be all kinds of ramifications from what happened yesterday. This is all still settling in for us. We are all still digesting, what happened. And today, when I left the radio station this morning, I had enough. I couldn't take it another second. My phone was still ringing. People still wanted to talk. My text messages were still pinging. But honest to God, y'all, I couldn't take it another second. I went Christmas shopping.
Oh man.
I have bought everything that Atlas is going to get for Christmas. Now, my son's birthday is November 16th. You would have thought that he would have been the priority.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go get him something for his birthday. But I went Christmas shopping. I was just like, you know what? I need a minute to step back, and I need to do something that makes me happy. Everybody that listen to the show, y'all know I love Christmas. Like, them boxes about to start coming up out the basement on Saturday. I love Christmas. We have to take care of ourselves in order to be able. Meech said, why you fighting? Who you fighting? You know what we fighting for. Don't play me stupid. You know what we fighting for. You know what it is that is happening to this community. And just to think about a black man going up and down the state asking folks to vote for Donald Trump, I know that had to be a sight. It just had to be a sight. White folks going to their dome, this little black man. Hey, man. Look here, man.
Master want to vote.
Oh, wait. I wonder, do he talk like that when he go to the white neighborhood? Hello, sir. How are you?
Excuse me.
They actually probably know his real name, because I don't know his real name.
Right. His real name probably ain't me.
My name is Alvin Moore.
My name is Albert.
we don't even know his real name. Winky Blue.
Winky Blue.
All these other little things. But that just had to be. Wait, let me see if this texted me, because he had texted me a moment ago. Somebody said, no, you didn't. I'm just saying. Can you imagine Beach knocking on these white folks' doors? What he say in the upper peninsula of the state, all the way down, I forgot where. Hey, man, look here, man. We want you to make sure you with Trump, man. I could just hear it. He didn't do that. He had that court jester hat on. He had them shades on. He didn't do that. He didn't have it on. He went up there like he was going on a job interview. I already know what he did. I know. You think I'm wrong? You think I'm wrong? I think
you're right. I think you're right.
I just can't believe I got to look at Melania's face again for the next 4 years and see these people traipsing in and out of the White House who are some freaking criminals. I just cannot. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Yeah, that's.
And watching Republicans be punks, be told what to do, browbeaten and bullied into votes and bills, and Mike Johnson them being ooh.
So
I gotta go shopping again.
Hey, put me on your list, man.
I gotta go shopping again.
So he's going to be the oldest president, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he was just talking about Biden.
Oh, it don't apply to me.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he get threw out of office? What's that called?
The impeachment.
They tried to impeach him.
Yeah, it didn't. He got impeached in the House, but the Senate didn't confirm it.
So
So he got brought up on charges, but he wasn't found guilty by the Senate.
So
They
my
had to
thing
put him
is,
out.
what are they going to do with his previous
Cases going away. In fact, let me just take a second because I just saw something.
Why they just
Jack
go
Smith is in talks with the DOJ about ending federal cases against Trump.
Wow.
As I said this morning on my show, there are 4 cases pending against Donald Trump. 2 are federal, 2 are state. When Donald Trump comes in, he controls the DOJ.
And you know what else is crazy?
He gets to tell people to move around, or he puts somebody in place that will close those cases. And he has said many times on the campaign trail that if he got elected, first thing he's doing is firing Jack Smith. And he know he getting fired.
So my thing is this.
And this is the classified documents case. I just want to say that.
So
the man who stole. So we get ready to put the man who stole classified documents and took them to a golf course in unsecured places and had your Cuban cousins lying for him about and moving the boxes around. We putting this man back in the office with said same classified documents. But this time, this idiot know what to do with them.
He got the trifecta.
Jesus Christ.
Money, power, and respect. And that's
where's they burning this stuff at? What Trump means for the Middle East. Oh yeah, the Palestinians can hang it up. Y'all didn't want to vote for Kamala, but y'all.
And you know the what?
Y'all didn't want to vote for Kamala, but y'all can hang it up.
Man, they just sitting back laughing.
I'm just saying.
Laughing like, you know.
So I'm just gonna say, you know, for the next couple days, we're gonna be talking about it. Some of y'all gonna have to look away. But you can't let this stuff get the best of you.
Yeah.
Find what makes you okay. You know, whatever the diversion is. I need y'all to go do that for a little while. Somebody said they should put the nuclear code inside a Rubik's Cube. He'll never get it.
Oh, he'll never figure it out. To the left, to the right, now slide.
They ain't got to do that. They can put it in an envelope and seal it.
Yeah.
Oh, they can put it in a book. They say he don't read. Man. He didn't read the morning briefing reports. So that's all they got to do. Man. Put it in a book. That's all they got to do. Now, if you put it near his spray tan bottle, he gonna see it every time.
Oh, yeah.
If you put it near that tape he put on his bald head to glue his hair over, he gonna see it every time.
he got the little roll runner thing going.
He do. Carvey. He put tape in his hair. He got 2-sided tape. He do. Y'all think I'll play it? Google it. He got 2-sided tape that he lay around that ring, that's that bald spot in the top of his head, right where he brushed the baby hair down. And then he combed over that long piece of hair from the left, and he laid and stick it to the glue. And then he puff it up like my mama used to do when she would comb through her curls. And you know how your mama get her hair and they curl it on the rollers, and then they take the thing and they comb it all back, and then they push it up. That's what he do. I don't know why y'all acting like you see. Wow. You see? Is that the top part where you can see the actual baldness? Well, it's on my Facebook page. See that little wind shot ain't doing it no justice. If you want to see how Donald Trump head really look, and if that picture had been used on the campaign, I don't know why Kamala Harris them. See that when they go low, we go high. I would have used that picture on all of the campaign ads of his. It's on my Facebook page. They could have took it right off my Facebook page because I rewound my TV like 900 times so I could get the right angle of his head. And he literally, he do. It's double-sided tape, Carvey. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
Glad to see you laughing and smiling and having a good time.
I mean, I got to do something, bro, to keep from crying.
Yeah, it's a lot different than sitting up there with them people you was with yesterday. I tell you that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
But listen. You done your part. Hey, listen. I got a picture of 3 heavy hitters yesterday.
Really? Who? What's going on?
I got you, Lena, and
Rep Myers.
Miss Rep Myers. I took a picture. I've seen you on YouTube. I took that picture.
Did you?
I'm finna frame that.
You know what? Stop playing.
Y'all my girls. I'm serious. Y'all my girls.
Stop playing. I appreciate the love.
I'm telling you now. So just relax. We did 4 years with him before. We're gonna do 4 years. My concern is that we prime somebody like a King Jeffrey or Warnock or
we got to
somebody
we got
that's gonna we got to start preparing somebody,
and we got to start getting our game together on the ground here in Milwaukee. Like it's got to be some meetings and some conversations and some networking where everybody send a representative. Everybody ain't got to come, but I got my representative in the room because we got for these people, and even for those that didn't vote for Donald Trump. We need to have expectations of this administration and be prepared to scream to the rafters when things are not happening for our community. And we need to start mobilizing. We need to get control of some of these seats that people sitting in them and they're not doing our work. They're not doing what they need to. So yeah, we got work to do on all fronts, bro.
All fronts. And let me just say this. I hear the music.
Okay.
If why do every 4 years? This is just me. Our black issues is voting rights and a balance of racial discrimination and that. Don't we have other issues to make that our priorities?
You know what? I think that what ends up happening is that during the course of these elections, that's when you start seeing more shenanigans about restricting voters' rights, purging voters from the rolls. And so you get caught up fighting that fight and you forget we fighting the lateral fight. We fighting the education system fight. We fighting this because you trying to protect the immediate rights that you see people coming after. But that's why if we get in the room and we have the agenda and we know what we asking for, we get to stay on message. Because that's the biggest thing. We have not stayed on message as a community, about what we need.
Last 2 things. I'm gonna be brief.
You good? Go ahead.
There's not gonna be a bloodbath. We ain't talking about that no more.
Okay.
And the election ain't rigged anymore since he won.
Oh, don't you love it? Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
Yeah, and then the last thing is, Michelle, I like to, if I can, I need you to do a shout out to the Newsoms, Corey, Willie, and the baby sister Sandra, and the passing of their mother, Miss Susie Newsom, I do believe, but Miss Newsom, for sure. And the Howard family send our condolences. Love y'all. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing to your crew in the background. Y'all be well, man. We talk to y'all later.
All right, bro. I appreciate it, and we will join you in sending those condolences to the Newsom family. All right, family. That's the show today. It's a wrap. I think in some moments, all I could do to sit here, and not, not just keep saying, "Why, Lord? Why?" Just why, Lord. But we're gonna be all right. We always all right, but we gonna stop making this fight so hard for ourselves too. We're gonna have to do more. All right, Jay, ride out. Yes, I appreciate you, bruh.
Indeed.
Young Carvey, young genius. I appreciate you, fam. Community, love y'all. Appreciate all of the work. And I know if Vice President Kamala Harris was in the studio or on the phone, she would want y'all to know how much she appreciates those of you that had her back. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
.860 AM, 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice.